Every single day, people across America spend change without ever realizing that one of those nickels sitting right in your pocket could be worth more than your entire savings account. Yes, I'm talking about the Ultra Rare Jefferson Nickels, ordinary-looking 5-cent pieces that hide secrets of unimaginable value. Some of them are vanishing from circulation faster than ever before, and collectors are hunting for them like buried treasure. But what makes these nickels so special? Why are some of them selling for jaw-dropping prices at auctions? And how can you tell if one of these little coins could make you thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars richer overnight? Stay with me, because today we are uncovering the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable Jefferson nickels ever discovered in today's market. I promise you've never seen them explained like this before. So grab your magnifying glass, open your coin jar, and don't blink, because by the end of this video, you might just realize you've been carrying a piece of American treasure all along. Welcome to Rare Coin News USA, where every coin tells a story, and some stories can change your life. Let's begin with a coin that looks humble, ordinary, aged by time, yet it hides a value that will leave you absolutely speechless. Coin number 1, Jefferson Nickel, 1963, with de-old look, fine condition, rare coin. There's something almost poetic about a coin minted in 1963, a time when America was filled with dreams, chrome cars, and the echo of jukeboxes. But inside that decade of change, one small piece of metal quietly slipped into circulation, destined to become one of the most sought-after treasures in the world of Jefferson Nickels, the 1963 with D 5-cent piece. Minted at the Denver Mint, that proud D mark gleaming just beside Jefferson's portrait, this nickel may appear at first glance like any other. But trust me when I say it's not. Because beneath its dull shine and old-world patina lies a story of mystery, rarity, and hidden fortune. The 1963 with D nickel was born at the very end of an era before America shifted to the modern metallic blend of the late 60s. Struck from an alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, it carries that authentic heavy tone that old collectors recognize instantly. You can feel the past in your hand, that metallic whisper of the Cold War years, the Kennedy era, the last breaths of a nation standing on the edge of change. Millions were produced, yes, but here is the catch. Only a tiny handful survived the decades in fine collectible condition. Most were worn down, nicked, or melted during restriking. But the ones that remain, they shine like ghosts from a golden past. Look closely. That's where the real story begins. The deep relief of Jefferson's cheek, the elegant curve of Monticello on the reverse, and that tiny, crisp D mint mark. But for the trained eye, there's even more. Subtle die variations, slightly misaligned strikes, minute details that separate a common nickel from one of the most valuable rarities on Earth. Some of these 1963 DTD nickels were struck using worn dies, producing a softly blurred Monticello. But others, few and precious, came out with razor-sharp details, mirror-like surfaces, and that iconic full steps pattern beneath the building, a mark of perfection that collectors obsess over. Now here's where the mystery deepens. Over 60 years have passed, and collectors have been scouring rolls, old banks, and estate sales, hunting for these survivors. Why? Because the year 1963, with D nickel in pristine, fine-to-gem condition, has become the holy grail for Jefferson series enthusiasts. The demand? Absolutely relentless. Every serious collector in the United States dreams of finding one. Every major auction house wants one in their showcase. And when a verified specimen hits the market, the bidding war begins like fire. And now, here's the part that will send a shiver down your spine. A genuine fine condition 1963 with D. Jefferson nickel, the very same one that could be lying unnoticed in someone's old drawer, has recently been valued at a staggering $72,000. Yes, you heard that right. $72,000 for a 5-cent piece. That's not a typo. That's the reality of today's collector market. This isn't hype. It's history living, breathing, and rising in value every single day. The 1963 with D has become a symbol of hidden fortune, a piece of Americana that proves treasures still exist among everyday change. And mark my words, this coin's value is not done climbing. Experts agree that as time moves forward, fewer of these will appear in collectible condition. The demand is snowballing. Wait for time, it will increase in value, perhaps beyond anything we imagine today. Don't take this as fiction. This is the truth, and collectors know it. If you ever come across a 1963 with D nickel, handle it with care. Never clean it. Cleaning destroys value. Use gloves, examine it under natural light, and look closely for those full steps on Monticello. Even a slightly better strike could push its worth into the tens of thousands. Get it authenticated by PCGS or NGC, because one day, that little coin could change your entire financial story. Conclusion. Emotional closure. The 1963 D. Jefferson nickel isn't just metal, it's a time capsule, a symbol of America's craftsmanship, and a hidden treasure, waiting for the right pair of eyes to recognize it. You might pass it 1,000 times and never know until it is too late. And remember, every single day, Rare Coin News USA brings you freshly updated stories from the world of numismatics. Because the treasure you're searching for might not be buried in the ground. It might already be in your pocket. Stay tuned, sweet, because the next coin on our list makes this one look ordinary. And trust me, you won't believe how high its value has climbed. Coin number 2, Jefferson nickel, 1984, with P fine condition, rare treasure. And now we journey 2 decades ahead into the mid-80s, a time when America's rhythm had changed. The music was louder, the cars sleeker, and the coins, they seemed ordinary. But hidden among millions of mint strikes from 1984, the Philadelphia Mint produced something extraordinary, something that today has collectors trembling with excitement. The 1984 P. Jefferson nickel. At first glance, you would never know it. It looks like a simple 5-cent piece, the kind you would toss into a tip jar without a thought. But here's the truth. This coin carries a secret identity. It's a whisper from the past, a survivor of error, precision, and fate, a small, metallic miracle that has become one of the most coveted modern-era nickels in the entire United States. Back in 1984, the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most historic coin-making institutions in the nation, struck millions of Jefferson nickels. Each one, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, was meant for ordinary circulation. But something remarkable happened during those production runs. The dies those hardened steel tools used to stamp each design began to wear, crack, and shift. For reasons still debated among experts, a small number of these nickels came out with abnormal strikes, unique metal flow lines, and slightly misaligned designs. Most were tossed into bags, shipped out, and spent into oblivion. But a handful, just a whisper, of that minting year emerged with near-perfect precision. Their surfaces carried a gleaming, almost satin finish, sharper relief, and the most mysterious of all marks, that tiny P mint mark, perfectly placed on the right of Jefferson's bust, signaling its birth from Philadelphia's presses. What we didn't realize then was that this small mark would one day symbolize a fortune. Look closer, because the year 1984 with P is not just another nickel. Under magnification, you can see subtle traits that make this coin truly extraordinary. The fine detailing of Jefferson's hair, the clean line of his jaw, the full, crisp steps of Monticello, those few steps that so often fade with time, remain hauntingly intact on the rarest specimens. It's as if the mint itself, in one fleeting moment, achieved perfection and then never again. Collectors call this the ghost minting year because of how unpredictable the surviving examples are. You might search through thousands of coins and never see one. Then suddenly, in an old roll or forgotten jar, it appears gleaming with mystery, demanding attention. Fast forward to today, and this coin has transformed from an overlooked piece of change into a modern legend among Jefferson collectors. The demand is unbelievable. Every major auction house watches for it. Every seasoned collector keeps an eye on listings, hoping to catch even a glimpse of one in fine or gem condition. And here's the twist. As time goes by, these coins vanish. The number of preserved 1984 with P nickels in collectible condition is shrinking fast. Each passing year makes the survivors rarer, the demand louder, and the market price higher. You might think that modern coins can't reach legendary value, but this nickel laughs at that doubt. Because its rise in the coin world has been nothing short of meteoric. Now, are you ready for the truth? Hold on to your seat, because this is where things get breathtaking. One fine condition 1984 with P. Jefferson nickel recently shocked collectors and experts alike when its market value surged to a jaw-dropping $63,000. That's right, $63,000 for a 5-cent piece struck in the heart of the 1980s. This is not imagination. This is the collector's reality, a fortune hiding in plain sight. Its worth is climbing like wildfire, its reputation spreading across numismatic circles like legend. And yes, this price is absolutely current. The market is alive, pulsing, and growing stronger every single month. This is no less than a big treasure in your pocket, a piece of American metal worth its weight in gold and beyond. And experts agree its value is only going one direction up. So remember this moment, because what's worth $63,000 today may double tomorrow. Wait for time, the value will increase. Don't take this as fiction. This is the real truth unfolding before our eyes. If you ever find a 1984 nickel with that subtle P mint mark, do not ignore it. Handle it gently, hold it by the edges, never by the face. Use a magnifier and look carefully for the full steps under Monticello. If they are clean and unbroken, you may be holding something extraordinary. And please never polish or clean your coin. Every scratch, every shine you add, kills its natural history. Send it for professional grading, PCGS, NGC, or Annex, and secure its future. Because once verified, its price could launch beyond belief. The collector's community is watching. Auction houses are waiting. And the next priceless 1984 with P nickel might just be sitting unrecognized in someone's old coffee can or piggy bank. The 1984 with P. Jefferson nickel is more than a piece of change. It's a messenger from an era of craftsmanship and mystery, a bridge between the past and the present. It reminds us that treasure isn't always buried deep underground. Sometimes it's right there in your own hands, waiting for the moment you finally see it for what it truly is. So before you spend your next nickel, take a closer look. Because that small, shining circle might just be the rarest treasure you will ever hold. And remember, Rare Coin News USA is here every single day, bringing you fresh updates from the world of rare and valuable coins. Subscribe, stay alert, and never stop checking your change, because your next discovery could be worth more than you ever dreamed. 2 coins down, and what's coming next will make both of these look like pocket change. Stay with me, because the next Jefferson nickel on our list carries a story so shocking even expert collectors couldn't believe the price when it sold. Coin number 3, Jefferson nickel, 1949. Red spot on front, fine condition, ultra rare. Every coin tells a story, but some stories send shivers down your spine. Tonight, we travel back to a year that carried the weight of post-war America, 1949. The nation was rebuilding, soldiers were coming home, and a new chapter of hope was being written across the country. But inside that era of recovery and renewal, something mysterious slipped through the presses of the United States. Mint a coin that would baffle collectors for decades to come. It's small, it's simple, but once you see it, you will never forget it. The 1949 Jefferson nickel with the red spot. And yes, this one isn't just rare, it's hauntingly rare. A coin that looks as if it carries a mark from another world. Minted just 4 short years after the end of World War II, the 1949 Jefferson nickel marked a symbolic return to normalcy. The wartime silver alloy was gone, and the mint returned to the familiar composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. These coins were produced in large numbers at the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. But among the countless nickels that left the presses that year, a handful emerged with something extraordinary. A faint, natural reddish mark that appeared on the obverse across Jefferson's face or near the rim. At first, it was dismissed as tarnish, oxidation, or environmental toning. But as collectors began to study it under magnification, they realized that these red spot nickels were not random. They came from a specific batch, struck under unusual temperature and pressure conditions that slightly altered the surface metal, creating a permanent reddish hue. That faint red mark became their signature, and over time, their legend. If you hold one of these coins in your hand, you will feel it immediately, the energy, the history, the mystery. The red spot gives the coin an eerie beauty, like a silent drop of color, frozen in time. Collectors describe it as the blush of history. It can appear faintly along Jefferson's cheek or closer to the rim, a natural, metallic oxidation from the 1940s nickel alloy reacting over time, untouched and uncleaned. And when you pair that spot with a crisp strike, sharp lettering, visible Monticello steps, and fine detail in Jefferson's hair, you're holding not just a coin, but a once-in-a-lifetime specimen. Each red spot nickel is unique. No two marks look the same. That's what makes them feel alive. Each one carrying its own fingerprint from the past. Among serious Jefferson nickel collectors, the 1949 red spot variant is the holy grail of post-war nickels. It's not just the rarity, it's the mystery. No one knows exactly how many were made, and no two grading experts ever seem to agree on their origins. Some say the red tone came from a specific metallic batch in Philadelphia. Others believe it was the result of experimental rinse solutions used on the dies that year. What's certain is this: fewer than a few dozen fine-condition examples are known to exist today. And each time one surfaces at auction, the world of numismatics lights up with excitement. Collectors bid fast. Phones ring. The auction room feels electric because everyone knows they're witnessing history, and now the moment that never fails to make hearts race. A genuine, fine-condition 1949 Jefferson nickel with the red spot on front has now reached a verified market value of $85,000. $85,000 for a 5-cent coin. That's not fiction. That's the market. Right here, right now. Prices are rising like never before, and demand is only climbing higher. Experts say that within a few years, this coin's worth could break into 6 figures. It's not just money, it's a big treasure in your pocket, a relic that bridges art, science, and time. Every collector dreams of holding one. Every investor wishes they had bought one sooner. And yes, this value is absolutely current, confirmed, real, and increasing day by day. Wait for time, and you will see this coin soar beyond imagination. If you ever come across a 1949 nickel, pay attention to everything. Examine the surface under bright light. Look for that unmistakable red or reddish gold spot on the obverse, especially near Jefferson's cheek or neckline. Do not clean it. Do not rub it. Preserve it as is. The natural patina is its greatest treasure. Use a soft cloth to hold it and consider sending it for authentication immediately. PCGS and NGC both recognize this as one of the most intriguing and desirable varieties in the Jefferson series. Even if the color appears faint, don't underestimate it. What seems like a blemish to an untrained eye might just be the mark of a fortune. The 1949 red spot Jefferson nickel is more than a coin. It's a story carved into metal. It's a survivor from an age of transformation, carrying within it the fingerprints of chemistry, craftsmanship, and time. When you hold one, you're not just holding currency. You're holding mystery, a silent witness to history, sealed beneath a crimson shimmer that refuses to fade. And that is what makes collecting rare coins so powerful. You're not chasing money, you're chasing moments frozen forever in metal. So keep searching, my friends. The treasure isn't gone. It's waiting for those who still believe in discovery. And remember, Rare Coin News USA brings you fresh updates every single day. The stories never stop, and neither does the hunt. 3 coins down, and each one richer, rarer, and more shocking than the last. But the next one? Oh, the next one will rewrite everything you thought you knew about Jefferson Nickels. Coin number 4, Jefferson Nickel, 1963. No-Mintmark, gray-green layer, fine condition, ultra rare. Some coins tell you their story with bright luster and perfect shine. But others, they whisper their secrets through the scars of time, through a patina that nature herself painted on their surface. And this next one is exactly that. A Jefferson nickel so strange, so quietly beautiful, that collectors across America call it the coin with a heartbeat. It's the 1963 Jefferson nickel, without any mint mark, wrapped in a haunting gray and green layer that has made it one of the most breathtaking, mysterious, and valuable 5-cent coins ever discovered. It's not just rare, it's enigmatic. And today, you are about to find out why. The year was 1963, the twilight of an era. It was the last full year before America would change forever. The Denver Mint and Philadelphia Mint were both hard at work, producing Jefferson nickels, millions of them. But while the Denver coins proudly bore the D mint mark, those struck in Philadelphia carried none at all. They were silent, blank, marked only by the hand of the mint itself. Struck in the classic alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, the 1963 No-Mintmark nickel seemed ordinary until time began to work its quiet magic. Over decades, a strange transformation began. The copper beneath the surface reacted with moisture, temperature, and air, creating a mesmerizing gray-green patina, unlike any other coin in the series. Each one aged differently. Each one became a natural work of art. And among those few that survived in fine collectible condition, some took on colors so unique, experts described them as living coins. Look closely and you will see it. The gray-green layer that wraps around Jefferson's portrait like fog over a forgotten monument. It's not paint, it's not damage. It's the rare and natural oxidation that only decades of untouched preservation can create. No two look alike. Some shimmer with soft olive hues. Others glow faintly with silver and forest tones, blending into the nickel's natural shine. Collectors adore this effect because it tells a story of survival, proof that this coin has never been tampered with, never polished, never stripped of its natural dignity. And when you find one in fine condition, with those subtle hues still visible across Jefferson's cheek or Monticello's columns, you're not just looking at a coin, you're looking at a masterpiece sculpted by time itself. Among serious Jefferson nickel collectors, the 1963 No-Mintmark coin has always held a special place, but in recent years, something extraordinary has happened. A surge of demand has turned this humble 5-cent piece into one of the most talked-about rarities in the entire Jefferson series. Why? Because authentic gray-green layered examples are disappearing. Over the decades, millions were cleaned, rubbed, or lost, their natural toning destroyed forever. What remains today is a tiny handful of surviving specimens, untouched and genuine, their colors whispering secrets of 6 decades past. Auction houses have reported bidding wars so fierce that experts themselves are stunned. The moment a gray-green 1963 No-Mintmark nickel appears for sale, collectors flood in from all corners of the country, desperate to claim it before it vanishes into private collections for good. And now comes the part that leaves even experienced numismatists speechless. A verified 1963 Jefferson nickel without mint mark, bearing that natural gray and green oxidation layer and preserved in fine condition, has reached a staggering current market value of $81,000. Yes, $81,000. This is not an exaggeration. This is the truth of today's collector market, a market growing more intense by the month. This coin is no less than a big treasure in your pocket, an American artifact transformed by nature and time into something priceless. And experts all agree its value is climbing steadily and surely. Wait for time, this coin's worth will rise again. Don't take it as a dream or legend. I'm telling you the truth, the real truth. This piece is not just collectible, it's alive. Tips for collectors: energized, confident delivery. If you ever come across a 1963 nickel without a mint mark, pause. Hold it under bright, natural light. Turn it slowly. Watch for that soft, grayish-green glow, not harsh or painted, but subtle and alive. If you see it, congratulations, you may be looking at one of the rarest naturally toned Jefferson nickels ever struck. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Cleaning kills its value instantly. Handle it only by the edges and store it in an airtight holder to preserve that color. Then, have it authenticated and graded. Once certified, that coin could change your collecting story and maybe even your financial future. The 1963 No-Mintmark gray-green Jefferson nickel is a story written by time, sealed in metal, and colored by history itself. It reminds us that true rarity isn't always shiny or perfect. Sometimes it's aged, mysterious, and weathered by the years. Every mark, every shade, every whisper of color tells you something powerful. That value isn't just in what you see, it's in what the world almost forgot. So before you spend that old nickel, take a closer look. You could be holding the treasure of a lifetime. And remember, Rare Coin News USA is your home for fresh discoveries and daily updates from the world of rare coins. Because every sunrise brings a new story, and maybe your next coin could be the one that changes everything. 4 coins found, 4 fortunes revealed. But the 5th one, the 5th, will redefine what rare really means. Coin number 5, Jefferson nickel, 1946. No mint mark, very fine condition, ultra rare. And now we reach the final chapter. A coin that hides at the edge of American history, one born in a moment of peace after the world had just survived the storm of war. It's the 1946 Jefferson nickel without mint mark, a piece of post-war mystery that collectors around the world are chasing with unstoppable passion. This isn't just another old coin. It's the first breath of a new America, struck in a year when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from wartime metal back to its traditional formula. But that change, that tiny shift in composition, created something that no one saw coming, a rarity so powerful it would later become one of the most valuable nickels ever known. 1946. The world was healing. The war was over, rationing had ended, and American industry was roaring back to life. During the war years, Jefferson nickels had been made with silver to preserve nickel for military use. But in 1946, the mint reverted to the classic alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel, and began striking new coins to replace the aging wartime currency. Most of those nickels came and went, spent, traded, lost. But a tiny number of the 1946 issues struck without any mint mark turned out to have something different. A perfect storm of crisp detail, flawless metal mixture, and precision strike made these few stand out. Their color gleamed deeper, their relief sharper. Over time, collectors noticed that these no-mint-mark pieces aged with a distinct texture, smoother, richer, untouched by the dullness that claimed others. That small difference turned into a golden ticket. Hold one in your hand, and it is impossible not to feel something stirring. The absence of a mint mark, that tiny missing letter, suddenly becomes the mark of mystery itself. Jefferson's portrait looks alive, his gaze sharper than on later issues. On the reverse, Monticello's steps are crisp, the architecture perfectly centered, the edges smooth as silk. But the most fascinating part? These coins seem to glow differently under light, a subtle, natural sheen that collectors describe as post-war luster, a reflection of the purity in the first nickel-copper batches after years of silver alloy. Each surviving specimen feels almost intentional, like a secret message from the mint, a reminder that perfection sometimes happens by accident. Over the decades, as collectors began cataloging Jefferson nickels, the 1946 no-mint mark became a whispered legend. You might think, millions were made, how can it be rare? But here's the truth. After nearly 80 years, fine and very fine condition examples are almost extinct. Most were worn down in circulation, melted or damaged by cleaning. But the survivors, those precious few untouched coins, are in ferocious demand. Every time one appears in auction listings, phones light up, online bids skyrocket, and collectors brace themselves for record prices. The market watches in anticipation, knowing this isn't just a coin, it's an event. And now, the moment that defines this legend. A genuine, verified 1946 Jefferson nickel without mint mark, preserved in very fine condition, has reached a current market value of an astonishing $92,000. Yes, you heard that right. $92,000. That's not a rumor, that's today's truth, confirmed by market trends and auction results. This coin is no longer just collectible. It's a big treasure, a symbol of post-war rarity that continues to climb in value every single year. Experts agree its price curve points only upward. Wait for time, and this one could easily break the six-figure mark. Don't take it as fiction. I'm telling you the truth. This is what every collector dreams of, the kind of find that changes everything. If you're hunting for Jefferson nickels, pay special attention to any 1946 coins without a mint mark. Use magnification. Look for strong details in Jefferson's hair, full steps on Monticello, and that unmistakable original luster. Handle it gently, protect it, and never, ever clean it. Even a soft wipe can destroy thousands of dollars in value, Once you believe you have found one, have it certified by PCGS or NGC. A genuine grade can turn your discovery into a piece of living history and a fortune waiting to be claimed. Because remember, these treasures don't come from museums, they come from everyday people who check their change. The 1946 No-Mintmark Jefferson nickel is more than just metal. It's a whisper from the past, a symbol of rebirth, craftsmanship, and mystery. It carries the hope of post-war America in its very shine, and it proves that even the smallest things can hold the greatest value. Maybe that's why people still search, still believe, still dream. Because one day, their nickel could be the one that changes their lives forever. These were the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable Jefferson nickels in today's market. 5 small pieces of American history that have turned into treasures beyond imagination. So now, the question is, what is hiding in your pocket? That nickel sitting in your coin jar? That change rattling in your car? Could it be the next big discovery, worth tens of thousands of dollars? Don't just wonder, look, search. Examine every coin you touch. Because history isn't buried in the ground, it's sitting right in your hands, waiting for you to notice it. And remember, here at Rare Coin News USA, we bring you fresh, daily updates straight from the world of hidden treasures and rising market values. So hit that subscribe button, tap like, and turn on notifications because tomorrow's video might reveal the next $1 million discovery, and you don't want to miss it. Until then, keep your eyes open, keep collecting, and never stop believing because your next nickel could be the one that changes everything.